Let me tell you something most men never discover until life has already passed them by. There is a silent game being played around you every single day. Not loud, not obvious, not written in words or spoken out loud. It's quiet, subtle, almost invisible unless you know where to look. But once you see it, you can never unsee it. It is not a game of declarations. It's not about a woman walking up to you and saying, "I like you." Attraction rarely works like that. Instead, it is a dance, a rhythm, a coded language written in her posture, her eyes, her pauses, the way she leans in or pulls away without even realizing she's doing it. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men live their entire lives blind to this language. They wait for the obvious. A compliment, flirty words, clear confirmation. But attraction doesn't announce itself. It leaks. It shows up in ways so subtle that if you aren't trained to see it, you'll miss it. You'll walk past opportunities. You'll misread tests as rejection. You'll think she's disinterested when in reality, she's waiting, sometimes desperately, for you to prove you're the kind of man who understands. Over the past decade, I've spent more time than I care to admit watching these patterns unfold. Not in theory, not just in books, but in the real world. In the quiet corners of coffee shops. In the awkward pauses at dinner tables. In the small interactions at gyms, workplaces, airports, and chance encounters on the street. What I've learned is this: attraction has fingerprints. It leaves marks. And if you learn to recognize them, you step into a secret world most men will never enter. There are two signals in particular, two deeply primal codes, that reveal when a woman isn't just interested in you, but when she feels pulled toward you against her own better judgment. She may not say it. She may not even consciously know it herself. But her body will tell you. Her nervous system will tell you. Biology speaks louder than intention, and if you know how to listen, you will hear it. And that's why we're here. Because right now, in your life, there may be someone sending you those signals. A colleague, a friend, a woman you see at the same cafe every Thursday morning. And you're walking past those signals every time. That ends today. No more blindness. No more missed opportunities. No more confusion about what she really feels. From this point forward, you will see with new eyes. You will understand what others can't even perceive. Because desire doesn't always speak in words, but it always leaks in patterns of behavior. It leaks in her breath, her body language, the rhythm of how she aligns herself with you even when she's trying not to. Once you recognize these two signs, it will feel like a veil lifting. Suddenly, things will click into place. The cold shoulder you thought was rejection? It wasn't cold at all, it was a test. That delayed text you interpreted as disinterest? It was a pullback designed to measure your strength. The way she casually mentions another man just as you lean closer? Not rejection, but a carefully crafted trigger to see how you respond. This isn't about games. This isn't about tricks. And it's not about chasing approval. This is about truth. It's about understanding how human attraction is written into our biology. Because attraction at its core is not a choice. It's not logical. It's not even conscious. It's an ancient survival instinct. When you understand that, you stop chasing. You stop trying to impress. You stop seeking permission. Instead, you start choosing. You move from reactive to deliberate. You become the man women test for, not the man who falls apart during the test. Welcome to the Stoic spirit. Here, we don't chase validation. We don't beg for attention. We study reality. We strip away illusions. And we uncover the quiet truths beneath behavior that most men will never notice. Today, you are going to learn the first two codes of that truth. If what I've said so far resonates with you, subscribe to this channel right now, because every week we uncover the hidden psychology of attraction, power, and calm masculine presence. And before we dive in, drop the word decode in the comments if you're ready to see what others can't. Now let's begin. Sign 1. The mirror in the silence. Sometimes, a woman doesn't reveal how she feels through her words, but her body betrays her in silence. Not in grand, theatrical gestures. Not in dramatic confessions. But in something subtle. Her rhythm begins to match yours. When a woman is deeply drawn to a man, her nervous system syncs with his. She begins to mirror him. At first, it's invisible to the untrained eye. But once you spot it, it becomes impossible to ignore. She echoes your movements, your tone, your breathing. Not consciously, not as a performance, but instinctively. Because her biology is tuning into you, whether she wants it to or not. This isn't just a poetic idea. It's science. Back in 2003, researchers published a groundbreaking study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. They described unconscious mirroring as social glue. When two people mimic each other's gestures, expressions, and vocal patterns, it creates an immediate sense of closeness, trust, and even attraction. The stronger the emotional pull, the faster and more accurate the mirroring becomes. So, if a woman finds herself falling into rhythm with you, her posture matching yours, her breath unconsciously syncing with yours, that isn't coincidence. That's her subconscious reaching out. Imagine this in real life. You're at a quiet cafe. The air is still, the background hums soft. You lean in slightly as you speak. 3 seconds later, she does the same. You pause, and a moment later, so does she. You rub your chin while thinking, and within seconds, she touches her face. Even blinking falls into rhythm. Your eyes close and open, and hers follow just a beat later. That is not randomness. That is biological resonance. That is attraction leaking through her nervous system. And the stronger her attraction, the shorter the delay between your move and her mirrored response. Now here's the test. Watch for her baseline first. Spend a few minutes noticing her natural posture and gestures. Then shift deliberately. Lean back. Cross your arms. Tilt your head. Touch your wrist. Watch carefully. Does she follow within seconds? If she does, you're not just talking, you're sharing a subconscious experience. But there's more. Sometimes mirroring doesn't happen instantly. Sometimes it happens with a delay of 30 to 60 seconds. That's not disinterest. That's resistance. It means her body feels the pull, but her mind is fighting what it's starting to feel. And in that hesitation, in that delayed echo, her body betrays a truth she isn't ready to admit. Words can lie. Intentions can be hidden. But the body always whispers the truth. And mirroring is one of those whispers. The Stoic man doesn't call it out. He doesn't chase it. He simply observes. He stays still, unshaken, aware. Because he knows that sometimes the body speaks the language the soul is afraid to say aloud. Sign 2. The silent jealousy test. Now we enter the second code. This one is trickier, and it destroys most men. Because when a woman begins to feel something real for you, she won't confess it directly. Instead, she will test it. Not with words, but with emotional pressure. Not because she wants to hurt you, but because she needs to know if you are steady, if you can be trusted with her vulnerability. This test often shows up disguised as indifference, distance, or even discomfort. But beneath the surface, it's not rejection, it's desire seeking safety. It's her nervous system creating scenarios to test your emotional strength. Let's break it down into 3 phases. Phase 1. The subtle retreat. You're laughing, talking, connecting. Then suddenly, the mood shifts. She crosses her arms. She steps back. She shortens her answers. Or maybe she throws a casual line like, "Your friend Sarah seems really cool. You too close." Most men panic here. They chase harder. They over-explain. They try to fix things. But what's really happening is ancient. Her biology is pulling back to scan your reaction. Are you steady, or will you crumble? Phase 2. The probe. After the retreat comes the probe. She'll throw in subtle comments designed to cut deeper. "She's probably more your type, right?" Or, "I bet you like girls like that." These aren't statements. They're questions in disguise. And your reaction tells her everything. Most men fall apart here. They defend themselves. They explain too much. They panic. The Stoic man, he stays calm. He answers simply, maybe even playfully. She's attractive. Not defensive. Not rattled. Just steady. And in that unshaken response, she feels something more powerful than any compliment. Safety. Phase 3. The proximity play. This is where she escalates. Maybe she stands closer to another man when you're near. Maybe she mentions someone asking her out. Maybe she laughs louder with another guy in your line of sight. And then comes the glance, quick, subtle, barely a second, but her eyes flick to you. She's watching. She's scanning. Will you flinch? If you show jealousy, if you tighten up, if you become possessive, you fail the test. But if you stay still, calm, relaxed, with a soft smile, you pass. And when you pass, everything shifts. She comes back. She re-engages. She laughs near you again. She touches your arm. The test is complete. You didn't break. And now, in her nervous system, you are stamped as rare. Because here's the truth. Women don't test for fun. They test for survival. Vulnerability is dangerous. Trust is dangerous. And her biology is wired to ensure she only opens up to a man strong enough to handle it. When you remain centered, when you don't chase, when you don't flinch, that's when she feels it. That's when she realizes she's safe. That's when respect, desire, and admiration collide into something powerful. Everyday examples. Once you understand this, you'll see it everywhere. The barista who mentions her boyfriend right after you flirt, not a shutdown, but a challenge. The coworker who says you've been talking to her a lot lately after ignoring you before, not rejection, but a probe. These aren't dead ends. They're detours designed to see if you can stay on course. The Stoic response? You don't defend. You don't overreact. You don't play the game. You observe. You smile. You stay grounded. Because true power doesn't shout. It doesn't beg. It breathes slowly and waits. From chased to chosen. And that is how you move from chasing to being chosen. By recognizing the test and refusing to take the bait, you show her what almost no man can: stability in the storm. Calm under pressure. Stillness when tested. Not because you tried harder, but because you reacted less. So the next time you think she's pulling away, remember, what looks like rejection is often just a test. What feels like distance is often curiosity. And the rare man, the man most women secretly hope to meet, stays calm. He doesn't explain. He doesn't chase. He simply stands firm. And in that silence, she feels it. Safety. Respect. Desire. That's the rare combination that makes you unforgettable. Now reflect for a moment. What you've just learned isn't a trick. It isn't manipulation. It's truth. A truth written not in opinions, but in biology and psychology shaped by centuries of evolution. Attraction isn't random. It follows patterns. Patterns most men never notice. But now you do. So tell me, have you ever mistaken a test for rejection? Drop the word "still" in the comments if you're ready to stay grounded next time it happens. And if this message opened your eyes, share it with a man you care about. Maybe your brother. Maybe your best friend. Someone who deserves clarity more than comfort. Because once you see this truth, you can never go back. You stop wandering blind. You stop guessing. You stop chasing. You begin to see the whispers beneath the words. The signals most men never recognize. And that changes everything.